I'm Susan Page, Washington Bureau Chief of USA Today, and this is Capitol Download. We're at the headquarters of the EPA with the Administrator, Gina McCarthy. Thank you so much for being with us.
It's great to be here, Susan. Thanks.
The Republicans next month take control of the House as well as the Senate, and I'd like to start by asking you what that is likely to mean for some of the ambitious programs you have here at the EPA to address climate change. You've been the target of both leaders of both houses in recent days. House Speaker John Boehner put out a press release touting 10 things you should know about the budget bill that just passed. Number 4 brags, cuts funding for the EPA for the 5th consecutive year and reduces its staffing to the lowest level since 1989. EPA funding now down by more than 20% since 2010. How big a problem is this, and what will this mean for you and what you do here at the EPA?
I think that the first thing that people know is the EPA is on the job and will continue to be there. And our job is really about protecting public health. But I think the most important thing for all of us to keep in mind is that environmental protection is part and parcel of a strong economy. And we're going to be making that case over and over.
The spending bill also would block taxpayer dollars from going to the UN Green Climate Fund, the climate change fund that the UN has set up. President Obama recently pledged $3 billion to that fund. Does this mean the U.S. won't be able to fulfill that commitment?
I don't expect that to slow anyone down. I think that it's up to the President and EPA as well to make the economic and environmental case.
Does the United States still stand behind that commitment? Would the intention of the administration be to go back and get that money at some later point in this tenure?
I think that everybody understands in the administration that the President is fully committed to addressing the issue of climate change and to do it in a way that helps grow the world economy, not just the United States economy, and making us more competitive. And we'll keep moving that agenda forward. And
go back to get that $3 billion at a later point?
Well, we'll go back and figure out how to address it.
The House Energy and Commerce Committee report out just in the past day or two, a 30-page report that criticizes your Clean Power Plan, calls it fundamentally flawed, legally questionable, structurally unrealistic, a runaway regulatory train. Does this concern you, and do you think that the Republican-controlled Congress will be able to delay or undermine the Clean Power Plan that you've outlined?
Well, I'm very confident that we're going to make our case environmentally and economically. EPA's strength has been that we're able to address those issues in ways that grow the economy, not stop it from growing. And if we bring that same can-do attitude to this challenge, I think we're going to do just fine. People are worried about climate change. They want to be protected, but they clearly want to do it in a way that continues to grow the economy. And this is one area where I am absolutely confident we can do both.
You have a critic also on the Senate side, the incoming Majority Leader, Mitch McConnell. Last week said he wants to rein in the EPA in his new role. He accuses you of waging a war on coal. With Republican control of the Senate, will he have the ability to create bigger problems for you in terms of slowing down implementation or demanding new reports?
What he certainly will have as many conversations on the Hill as they want to have. And I have great respect for everybody's opinions on this and their concerns. But I feel very strongly that EPA was charged with addressing air pollution, and that carbon pollution is no different than any other. No different in terms of our need and authority to address it, but also no different in terms of our ability to turn that into an opportunity for economic growth.
President Obama will have a huge environmental legacy, but he'll have done it without passing a single major piece of environmental legislation. The administration, when Congress refused to pass legislation, turned to executive action, largely through the EPA. And I wonder, one of the things that critics sometimes say is, he's done this with the stroke of a pen. The next president can undo these steps with similar ease. Are you concerned about that? Would it be easy for the next president, if he or she disagreed, to undo the steps that you've taken on this issue?
I actually think that President Obama is fulfilling the task that Congress gave to him, and I'm fulfilling the task that Congress gave to EPA. I am doing what the law tells me I should do in the smartest way I can. And the President has told us to go ahead and implement the law as you've been given, but also do it in a way that recognizes that growing the economy is essential as well. And that is what we're doing. And I think we're going to be able to prove that you can tap your head and rub your tummy at the same time. It's a little tricky, but we can all do it, and I think that's what we're going to do with this rule and other things.
Are there things that you're doing to make it as hard as possible for the next administration to undo them?
Actually, we're just going by what the law says, and if you think about it, every time that EPA has moved forward on a major law, industry or others have raised concerns, some of them in ways that I don't think are really as honest about what the rule looks like. In the end, when you move, they run and they make money off it. It's going to be the same here.
Gina McCarthy, thanks for joining us on Capitol Download.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it, Susan.